What's up? Welcome to the Unstuck Podcast. I'm your host, Drew Cause, and you are in the right spot. This is where we discuss real life, real problems with real people. You're going to get unstuck. Now, while you're at it, make sure you subscribe and share this with a loved one. Let's get ready to get unstuck. What up, though? What's up, guys? So today we're talking about the journey of podcasting and what it entails, what my journey has been like, and how I can help you. So welcome to the Unstuck Podcast. I'm your host, Drew Cost. Before we get into this episode, do me a favor. Subscribe to this channel so that we can keep helping you and helping others. If you guys hear me switching my hands a lot, I'm actually holding this microphone because I have to get a new extender for this bad boy. So let's jump in. So I started podcasting around 2022, I think. 22. Started podcasting in 2022, and with that being said, I got into it because I wanted to actually just have a place where I got into podcasting because I wanted to have like a journal. I like writing, but for some reason talking into a mic seemed easier for me, and I got into it. I wasn't going to publish anything. I just did it to just release. And after a while, I was like, let's just turn this into something. And I didn't realize at first how much it took to actually do that. So you can start off with just a phone, but I was like, I want to make it better eventually. Well, what am I going to need? Quickly you started running into probably needing a mic. I was doing video podcasting, so I was using my phone a lot, and I got discouraged. And I believe I got discouraged because I started looking at people like David Shands and Joe Rogan and people with bigger audiences and things like that, and I literally just started comparing versus realizing, Drew, you've been doing this for like 4 months, bro. They've been doing it for years. So that's something in itself. And I stopped. Now, what could have made it better for me? Having probably a coach or a course, which we'll get into in a couple minutes. So I quit. I went to do some work for a company, and I was going to just do their podcast. I was going to be like the face. I was going to be interviewing people for them, which we started lightly, and I was going to be able to take my hands off of all editing, uploading, all of it. I was going to be able to just show up and shoot, which if you know about podcasting, if you're able to just show up and just shoot, everything is 10 times better. That wasn't the case. So it didn't end up working that well. And I was so discouraged. I was like, I quit completely. So fast forward, rewind. With that company, I had took a course from a very known creator which I respect to this day. I don't think the course did its justice, but the course was great. The course really told us the stuff that we needed, and it became really, really expensive really fast because they gave us their setup. And their setup, which now that you think about it, it wasn't cool how they did it. So they gave us their setup, but their setup was like based on their affiliates. So they gave us like their software that they use, but that was an affiliate. So as soon as people bought that affiliate with their link, they get money. I'm not mad at that, but I know that's why they did it. And the software was complex. The software was really, really hard to use at first. It was not user friendly no matter who you were. I don't care what anybody says. And it's still not user friendly. The software wasn't user friendly. So the software, they gave us their Stream Deck, which the software was $300. The Stream Deck was like $200. A certain mic that was like $200 and some change. So by the end of the course, which is a 90-minute course, you were looking at about almost 2 to 3 G's because they put their camera in also. And I was like, this is heartbreaking. Like, no one's going to be able to just jump in and start. And then they had a VIP course, which cost more. So with all of that, I just got like completely discouraged. I stopped, and then all of a sudden I realized, hey, let's just throw up any video that I have. Let's just throw it in the podcast. So there was no more strategy. There was just haphazard stuff. Fast forward, I was realizing one day that I missed it. And I missed it because it started off as a way for me to release, for me to talk, for me to get information to other people. And I liked it. I like podcasting. I love it, actually. And I said to myself, if it's going to take all of these barriers for me to do it, I have to eliminate a barrier of some sort. I have to figure out a way to do this where it's not going to be taxing. So I started doing it with my phone. I was doing it with my phone. I had a mic that my wife had bought me, a $40 like audio technician mic I got for Valentine's Day, and I was using that. I was rocking with it. And the cool thing at that time was I can take that mic wherever I went, and I would just plug it into my phone or my computer. Now, I didn't know anything about making how important a mic was, so I was just flowing, and I was like, I'm going to get some reps in, and that's it. And then I got a little bit better with using my phone, a little bit of lighting, still not great with lighting, and eventually I got a camera. And a camera changed the game, so to say, but it created another barrier for me because I had to learn how to work a camera. I had to learn like certain lenses, focuses. And it became just so much barriers. And this is what got me to actually wanting to teach how to create a podcast, because the amount of barriers that I came up with, I had to keep YouTubing how to do something, how to get out of something, how to fix something, and it became lots of hours of trying to do that. It became lots of hours, so I got a camera, and then I ended up uh, figuring out like some ways to edit my podcast by using CapCut. So I would go on a treadmill for an hour, and I'd be editing a 10-minute podcast episode on the treadmill. So the episode was 10 minutes, and it was taking me an hour, and I was like, this cannot be sustainable. Now, you might say, Drew, why didn't you just hire out? Because A, I'm not rich yet. At that time, I definitely was not rich, so I didn't want to hire out. And I wanted to learn some of it because I wanted to be able to know some of it in case I couldn't get an editor or something like that. Fast forward, I ended up getting a software called Final Cut Pro, which is dope once you learn it. But learning that sucker, my God, it was a headache. So all of these barriers kept coming up. And I would say to myself, once I learn it, I'm going to be able to teach it. Because if people get these barriers so much, they're going to quit. They're going to quit just like I did. So fast forward, I was like, you know what? My podcast works well with me using my camera. I'm going to use my camera. Use my phone. And I use my phone, and I would just record videos with my phone. And I had got a better mic. I would plug the mic up to the phone, and that would be it. All that to say is barriers are going to come on anything that you learn. They're going to come on any path. My job now is to have programs where we can tell you when the barrier is going to come, so that you're not only prepared, but that you have a plan to actually get past the barrier, get through it, or get over it. Now, with that being said, I have a different mic now, which does not hook up to my phone. So I'm going to be using more so the laptop, which is cool, and like a webcam, and maybe my camera, and then I'll just like sync the audio. So it's going to be a little more difficult. It's another learning curve. With every learning curve, there's always there's great knowledge that you take or you get along with that. Let me say that better, because that sounded a mess. With every learning curve, you get another chance to keep learning. You get another chance to keep getting better at whatever you're getting better for, and you never know how that plays in different fields. Pause while you're here, subscribe, and share this with a friend. Maybe you're trying to launch a podcast or start one, or a friend is, but share this with them so that they can get some information and that we can help them. So let's go back into the episode. With the learning curve that I have to take now with using the camera more, using these things, you start to streamline a process that works for you. Something that works well for me is batching. And usually I batch like this when I'm shooting episodes. You can take notes on this if you want. Sometimes I'll go like 20 to 30 days and shooting an episode every day. Right now, I'm in a season where I'm doing just audio podcasts because I'm caught up with my video podcast until October. And I actually love audio because I'm sitting here with a comforter on and a pillow behind me and I'm just relaxed. Batching like that helps me get far ahead. So I'll pick out my episode titles, or I'll just see which ones did better before, and then I'll do like a spin to it. I shoot all those episodes, and then I'm able to take like a month to just figure out what do I want to do next, or take a little break, or not. So here's what I'm gonna give you for tips today. You want to think about what kind of podcast do you want? Do you want an audio only? This is when you're just hearing the person talk. You're not seeing their face. Or do you want a video podcast? This is where you do see their face. Or do you want a mixture of both? Now, what's the benefits, pros, and cons? Pros and cons of audio. Pros is you don't have to do much editing at all. You can actually just shoot and not do any editing. You don't have to worry about making graphics. You don't have to worry about the algorithm, because when you upload your episodes, usually someone who's subscribed to your channel, they're not following 10,000 episodes, or they're not following 500 podcasts. They're probably following maybe 10 or 20. So you're always going to pop up on their feed, so to say. So that's a pro. Another pro is you can do it anywhere. I have a Zoom recorder right now that I'm recording through, but I've done a ton through my phone where I can take it to a beach. I can take it to working space. I can take it to a library, a park, plug in, and just record. That's a big benefit. And then I think the biggest benefit is you don't have the fear of showing up perfect on camera, especially if you're introverted and you don't always want to show your face. Now, the cons is I think you just don't show your face. I don't see that as a con. I believe most podcasting is really the audio. The video stuff is just a video. We just mixed it to call it like a podcast video for some reason. Now, pros and cons of the video ones. Pros is you get to show your face. People may have a bigger, deeper connection. You can use some of those clips on social media easier. You can do that with audio too. It takes a little different work, but you can. So with the video, you can use this for social media. You can also use those for like webinars and stuff like that, and you can also make sure people also know you're not AI when you're doing that. That's really important to me because AI is taking over. Now the cons is if you're using a dynamic mic, which is a mic that plugs into like an audio interfacer. You have to, if you're using the camera, you got to be syncing the audio in the camera. If you are recording, you have to look decent of some sort. That's based on what you consider to be decent. You can get out there and look scruggly and scrappy. You can. It's up to you. You also have to, you show up in a different way. And people don't realize when you're on video, if no one's on the other side of the camera at the moment, like say you're not doing it live, say you're just doing it where you set up your stuff, you are talking to a camera with nobody on the other side is harder than what you think. You can be going for 2 minutes and it may feel like 5 hours in your head, so it's harder than what you think. So that's a con. Which one will I say is the easiest to get into? Audio. The barrier of entry is way lower. You just need mainly. I would say you need a mic. You can do it without one, but a mic makes it so much better. Alex Hormozy is one of my favorite people to learn from, and he put up some podcast episodes when he first started, 2017. He didn't have a mic, and all you heard was like an echo. And then if you hear stuff now, he actually has the mic that I'm using right now. So much better. you actually feel like you're talking next to him and with him. Okay, so we got those parts figured out. Audio is easier. Which one do you want? It's always up to you. You can always start one way and go another way. I found a lot of successful people doing audio only. I found a lot of successful people doing video only. It's up to you and the season of your life. Now, what do we teach people? What do we teach people in our individual and group courses? We teach you how to start yours. We find out what it is that you want. We help you come up with like your name, episode titles, episodes, because most people fail before the 10th episode. So we help you overcome that barrier. We teach you some basic editing. If you want to learn some this way, you can know how to maneuver, or if something happens, you know what to do to fix it. And we help you with the mental aspect of it. How do I keep this going? That's where I was stuck at. How do I keep this going? How do I sustain this? Because it could get overwhelming if I'm not careful. And it's like everything. Anything you do can become overwhelming if you let it. We teach people how to have a set system that works for them. And that looks different per person, right? A mom that's a full-time mom, full-time worker, all these things, her time's going to look different than maybe Billy, who's 22 with no kids, no bills. He can just podcast his heart away. It doesn't mean that they both won't have effective podcasts. It just may look different per person. And that's okay. That's totally okay. So those offers you can find on my website, go.drewcost.com. I'll put it in the show notes also. We would love to help you, and I believe the world needs more people podcasting, because as much as you think, a lot of people start it and then they stop before the 10th episode. So there's room for you. What do you say? You want to start your podcast? I would love to be your guide and help you, guide you to podcast glory. Subscribe to this channel, guys. Tell a friend. Share with a friend. You know what I'm going to say. I'm out of here. I cannot say thank you enough for listening to this episode. Do me a favor, subscribe and share it with a friend.
Okay.
Help us help more people as we share a message of getting unstuck with real life problems with real people solving them. Be great.